Oh my goodness, I'm groggy. I overslept for work. I'm trying to get myself in motion here. Trying. You know, I kind of called it when I was on my way home during my last video that I was worried I was going to end up falling asleep before it was time to go to work and then not waking up. And yeah, that's pretty much what happened. So it's 9:07 p.m. Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023, and I'm on my way into Amazon. I'm pretty sure I got enough, you know, UPT and PTO to handle this. So it's not going to be a big deal as in, oh, you're going to get fired for being late. And I expect management will be happy when I show up, because they always seem to be. I do worry I might get stuck water spidering or building manual pallets or doing anything other than my usual forklift driving. You know, it's kind of the positions get allotted when the first stand-up happens right after 7 o'clock, and at this point there's, I don't know, I'm not even sure how many drivers we have at this point. There's been so much turnover in forklift drivers, and it seems like every day another one's getting suspended for something. And I don't even know if my recent videos, if I've mentioned that I nearly had an incident my last shift. I think I started to talk about it, and then I kind of got sidetracked talking about how I got sick to my stomach and spent way too much time on the toilet over a sandwich that I got from the vending at work. And well, they keep talking about the Trump payoff prosecution stuff. I'm so over it. Let's get some good music on here. We can do better than this. I really miss having a working CD player in my car. I mean, I've tried to kind of rig up stuff with, you know, smartphones to my aux end, but to me that's just messing with a smartphone to play music. It's a pain in my ass. I just want to shove the disc in the slot and be done with it. The music on the radio sometimes is just crap. Headlights, dude. Oh, shit. Like, way up at, like, 100 something I hit some Akon. Now I can't find it. Of course, it was on a, like, semi. There it is. I can hang with this, thank God. You know, it's moments like that I kind of miss analog tuners, where I can just turn the knob to the damn station. Because, yeah, like, hitting scan, like, if the station's not strong enough, it just zips right by it. I like this song. I think I got the 12-inch vinyl single for this song, actually. But it don't matter, no, if I got you. Sometimes I just need, like, part of a good song is to get my head straight. That helps. This guy is not exiting, so I guess he doesn't belong in that lane. He's driving way slower than the rest of the traffic, though. Oh, a small pickup truck. I miss those. I don't even think anybody makes those anymore. So, anyway, as I was saying, yeah, my last shift at work, I had my whole ordeal. I got sick, and I talked about that a little bit. Kim suggesting I go to Amp Care, and me just being like, no, no. Just no. So many reasons I don't want to go to Amp Care, just no. And after that, as if that wasn't like an ordeal enough at work, yeah, my last day at work was kind of rough. I had what could have easily been a disastrous pit incident inside a truck. And I think I started to explain it. Basically, so I don't get all long and drawn out, not have enough time to explain what happened. And I do recall I was starting to explain it in another video where I was talking about how we've got two different ways of securing loads. TDR load straps, or the puzzle pieces, which are just good for one-time use. They're a giant piece of self-adhesive plastic, and every time I use those, I just envision this giant piece of plastic just contributing to the pollution in the world. When it would be possible to use a strap that can be reused and reused and reused. In the truck that I was trying to pause the load on, it only had 12 UPV pallets in it, so 6 spaces in the truck taken up. This truck barely started, basically. And it had, so yeah, it had that. I needed to secure that, and it was in a shipping container type truck that has very few spaces inside for securing the straps. So it's got plenty of spaces at the end if you fill the truck, but down the middle of the truck there's not as many spaces to secure partial loads. So, anyway, I always pull, when it's a situation like that, I always pull one of the piles out and see, hey, are there notches in behind this pile that I can attach to? And there were. Now, there were no notches for a ways in front of that, so in order, and I guess I need to mention that not only did I have that, but I had 2 pallets of pallet receive that I needed to put behind it. So I needed to have 2 straps, high and low straps to strap off the 12 double-loaded UPV pallets, and then I needed to have 1 single strap behind that to strap off the 2 UPV pallets going in. Or, I'm sorry, the 2 pallet receive goods on wood pallets. I think one was drinks, I forget what the other one was. But, anyway, the only notches that were available were kind of hidden behind the last wall of UPV pallets, and they were in about halfway back, which means I would need to use the most common load straps we have are yellow load straps, and they're not very long. And if you're in a truck that's got the notches for the straps, every foot or so, like, they're fine. But if you're one of those trucks that only has a limited number of places to connect the straps, then yeah, it's probably not going to be long enough. Now, there are straps that are longer. Generally speaking, they're color-coded. They're gray. They take a little bit more effort to find. I generally try to have a few of them stashed and know where they're at. But anyway, so I went and I got gray straps. So I end up pulling like the last two piles of UPP pallets out, and working on setting up straps. Well, I'm realizing that where the notches are for the straps, for whatever reason, instead of having like individual rows of notches, wow, my phone just made a really weird sound. Individual rows of notches, a couple feet apart, the length of the trailer. On this particular type of trailer, generally what they do is there's just occasionally notches, but where they have the bracket welded in to the side of the storage container, shipping container, with the notches, it'll have two notches side by side, which generally speaking seems kind of nonsensical for me. For the most part, it only comes in handy when for some reason one of the notches is ripped out so I can use the other one. Sometimes they get blown out, but that wasn't an issue on this truck. Well, anyway, I was looking at that, and I'm trying to think, well, what can I do about the two pallet receipts? I really don't want to use these plastic puzzle pieces ever because they're just absolutely crappy for the environment. And just giant pieces of one-time use plastics to me are just absolutely evil. It reminds me, I was watching a documentary on YouTube a few days ago, which was actually about drones used for delivery of blood in a small country in Africa. And one of the things it mentioned was that this African country was apparently the first country to ban all one-time use, all single-use plastic packaging. And not that I'm in favor of that, but I do think there should be more effort made to avoid plastic waste. I mean, and yeah, I feel like a bit of a hypocrite as much as I buy bottled water and I buy soda and other beverages in plastic bottles, but I do make an effort to get them to the recycling center, all the Type 1 plastic bottles that I consume. Now, I'm aware that recycling system is kind of broken, but I don't know. That's a different problem, and I'm hoping somebody will address that. I'm kind of trying to do my part with that. Anyway, that said, there's way more plastic in one of those puzzle pieces, and mind you, the securement for pausing that load would have involved using 6 of them, and there's way more plastic in one of those than there is in several cases of bottled water. So let's just put things in perspective. So anyway, I'm securing the loads, or trying to get the straps in, and I'm trying to think what I'm going to do about the last one, because I'm basically going a pretty long distance with straps, and I don't think that we actually have any proper. Well, actually, it wasn't even a matter of not having straps that long, but realizing that there are no ratchets with straps that long. That because I was going to have 2 pallet receive pallets, that there was absolutely no arrangement that I could do with straps where I always put the strap with the ratchet on the left. There was no arrangement I was going to be able to do that would allow that ratchet to be usable, because it would be blocked by the pallet receive pallet. Because I was going to have to go to the notch in front of there, the second notch, the back notch of the 2 notches. So what I thought I would try, and I am going into overly going into detail like this. Like I said, I wouldn't, but that's just, I'm autistic. It's how I explain things. It is what it is. You can always, play this at double speed or whatever. So anyway, so I thought I'd take a different approach and put in gray straps on each side, like the part that you ratchet in, the longer gray straps on each side on the back ones, and kind of dangle them out, and then use one of the ratchets with a cut strap, and put both straps in it and just kind of ratchet them tight together. I was imagining in my head that would probably work, and just for the record, it did. But I made a mistake, after I went through all this extra effort to pull those pallets out and to figure out exactly what combination of straps I was going to use and get them all anchored into the latches, and then secure it up hanging in the truck, because that becomes another problem. How do I get them to hang in the truck when I have very limited amount of notches to put things in, to put the other end in to keep them up? But I sorted that all out. Granted, it took a lot longer than I probably should have spent working on that particular truck, but I don't know. I figure at least if I'm doing something and I'm kind of overly complicating the task, but I'm doing it to the end of being more sustainable and using reusable securement methods versus the horrible for the environment puzzle pieces. You know, considering how much time that I don't spend just standing around fucking off like most of my coworkers do, it balances out. You know, it's not wasted time. At least I'm actively kind of working on making Amazon a sustainable company and getting my job done. So anyway, I haven't been paying close attention to my exits, and I can't read these signs until I'm right freaking under them because of my damn bad vision. Okay, this is the 75th Avenue exit. Anyway, so I get the straps, everything like I need to, and go out and get my first pile of my first stack of UPP pallets to put back in the truck. And I'm trying to put it in place, but for some reason it won't. I can't seem to get it off my forks, and I'm kind of like, I'm sort of getting it. I'm trying to, you know, shift it into the corner in the place. So it takes a little effort to get it around when you've got straps, that many straps like I have. It does take a little more effort to get it in there without hitting the ratchets. The ratchet side's the most difficult. And basically I do that by bringing it in, but not all the way to the left side where it needs to be, and then using the forks to slide it to the left around the buckles, you know, around the ratchets. And then, you know, make sure it's pushed all the way back. But anyway, I can't seem to get, like, every time I back up, the pallet's coming back with me. It's like, okay, I've lowered my forks all the way, and I'm trying to back out. Why is the stack not staying there? And I get off, and first I look, and I'm looking at my forks, and mind you, I don't like, oh, god damn it. Sorry. Huh, yeah, that makes my car start faster. Drive as slow as I want to, asshole. Of course it's somebody in a big ass SUV. It always is. Anyway, I'm almost to work. I better wrap this story up. Anyway, so I get out and I look at the forks like, you know, where it's supposed to be. But for some reason, like, as I'm lowering the forks all the way, they're not going all the way down. So I'm thinking, well, shit, something's gone wrong with this forklift. It won't lower the forks all the way down. And so I'm trying different things I could think of, and I'm wondering, like, and I'm like, wow, I really don't want to go get help with this. And I have to explain, like, why I've gone overkill with all the straps in here. And then I look a little closer and realize that while my left fork is not all the way down, but it's under the UPP pallet base, or my right fork, I mean, my left fork, and mind you, I'm on the left side of the truck, so there's not really much space between the forklift and the side of the truck, and I can't really hardly see it, but I managed to kind of get my head down there and look, and I see that the left fork has pierced through the hole that's used for tying shrink wrap to the UPP pallet base when you don't have sides to use on it. Whenever you're palletizing on a UPP pallet base, you're wrapping with shrink wrap. It's pierced through that, and mind you, that hole is smaller than the fork, so it, you know, it kind of blows the hole out, and it's tightly. So I basically punctured the thing. I mean, I've gone where there's a hole already, but you know what I mean. Like I've made the hole bigger, and it's attached. It is attached to my fork, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is this is bad. And I'm thinking to myself, great, if I report this, then we end up having to have safety come out, trying to figure out how the fuck I'm gonna get this load off my forks. And of course I'm trying to, anyway, long story short, I spent quite a bit of time in that truck. I missed my whole third break because of it. Strapping, and the only thing that saved me is the fact that I'm becoming such a load strap fetishist, that I was able to use the top and the bottom straps, which I put in, which was going to secure that wall, to hold the totes in place. Mind you, these totes it's palletized totes, or keep trying to come apart. And I know if they collapse in the truck, I'm fucked. As if they collapse and then the individual totes contents are intermingle, I'm fucked. So I came so close, especially the bottom one. Of course, the bottom one collapsed and the top pallet's just going to come crashing down. That's no good. Oh, I arrived during break time. Ain't that something? Anyway, long story short, because I'm here and I need to get my ass in and go to work. The bottom, it took some effort, and it took some shifting around and rethinking how I was going to position the straps, and then sliding it to the right so I could get the forklift a little bit further to the right so I could get my body on the left side of the forklift to mess with the straps, and then trying to ratchet the straps in the tiny bit of space between my forks and the pallet, because of course I can't back the forks out of the pallet because it's pierced into the pallet and attached to the pallet, physically attached to the pallet. There's a spot. I end up, oh, there's a slightly better spot. Oh yeah, it's Wednesday night. So we got front half and back half here. Of course it's crazy busy. Yikes. Anyway, long story short, so I can get my ass into work. I end up one strap around the top pallet, the one that was going to be around the bottom pallet, and then I'm able to use the I'm able to change out on the right side, because I can still get to the notches on the right side. Left side notches are blocked by the pallets that I'm trying to figure out how the hell to get off my forks. I'm able to switch out the long gray strap that I put on the right side on the second notch with a ratchet, and then I was able to take the long gray strap that I was going to use, for the pallet receive, which I eventually ended up using for the pallet receive, and putting it around the UPP base between the center leg and the right leg, because there's no getting in between the center leg and the left leg, because I've got my fork kind of pierced through there. I managed to get it around, wrap it around that, and then kind of ratchet up and get that tight. And I managed to get the pellets where they need to be, and then ratchet it tighter, which of course involved undoing it and then re-ratcheting it, because I was ratcheting too much. You can only put so much strap in the ratchet, and then you overfill it, and then you jam it, and that's an even bigger problem. So, but I managed to just manipulate the ratchets in such a way that I managed to completely secure that stuff to the point I'm able to pull out of it. But it took some effort. My fork was in there very snugly. And those were heavy pallets. Anyway, I ended up getting it loose, but oh my God. It's like so nervous somebody was going to walk in and be like, what are you doing in here? And apparently, like, everybody else was so busy doing whatever they were doing that nobody noticed, like, how long. And like I said, third break came and went while I was dealing with this. Nobody knows how long. When I finally came in, I'm sure I just looked like sheer frazzled hell. And I mean, my scalp was sweating, and I was so stressed out, because I'm just stressed out at the thought of getting suspended from forklift driving again. And I think at this point, like, it would be a final suspension for me. And if I couldn't be forklift driving here, I don't think I would want to still work here. I mean, I probably still would, because I need the income and I need the job, but it would really, really suck. So anyway, yeah, I did manage to get the forklift free, and I managed to, get the other switch my straps back to how I had them, and get the other stack of totes in, get the other two receive pallets in, and get it secured. But before I finished it off, at one point I just needed to decompress because it was such a high stress, panic kind of situation for me. I was damn near in tears in that truck, panicking, trying to figure out. It's like, no, this is my job. I got to make, if I fail at this, my life's over. That's kind of the thought process I was going through. And I ended up, I came out and Kim asked. I said, well, it wasn't an incident in the truck, but it was stressful. I didn't give her all the details because she didn't need to know all that. But she's like, well, as long as everything's okay and you're okay. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. A little freaked out. Tonight's been a rough night. I said, but yeah, it's okay. I'll have that truck ready to go out in a couple of minutes. Just got to do the pallet receive in there. Anyway, I got it all secured exactly the way I wanted to do it. Didn't have to worry about anybody coming in and looking at it and asking questions. I got my TDR permissions back. I was able to TDR it myself. Now, whoever finishes that load is a pause load. I'm hoping it's me. So, because I'm sure someone else is going to go in there, kind of look at the way that I did that last strap with the two long gray straps with a ratchet with a cut strap on it, ratcheting the things together. Is probably going to think, well, that's fucking weird. But I'm confident that it was secure. I mean, I wouldn't have sent it out if I wasn't confident in it being secure, even if it is a little non-standard in the way I did it. I like this Ed Sheeran song, even if it is a rip-off of a Sia song. Or is the Sia song a rip-off of the Ed Sheeran song? They both have essentially the same instrumental. It's just fun for karaoke, because I can play the one instrumental and sing the one song, and play the other song and instrumental and sing the other song, and people are like, what's going on? I just switch lyrics back and forth. Someday I should make a YouTube mashup of that, because I don't think anybody has. Anyway, yeah, so... yeah, pretty panicked. Anyway, I gotta go in. My biggest thing is I don't know. Yeah, it's time to face some music. It's what happens when I show up late. At least it's not like other jobs where I'm going to be at risk of losing my job. So thanks for coming with me on the drive, and thanks for watching.